So I have another self-tape. It's for another advert. And what can I say? Adverts, they pay well. They're not perhaps the most creatively fulfilling way of making a living, but they can be good fun, and I've had only good experiences, I would say, with the teams and the other actors and director and makeup artists and all the crew, and I've always had a good time on set for ads, so I really can't complain. Of course, I didn't get into acting because I wanted to be in adverts. Well, there's nothing wrong with doing them. Well, isn't there? I don't know. Perhaps it's not the most ethical way of using your craft to sell products, but we live in the world that we live in. So once you get over that aspect, it's fine. It's fun. It pays well. Nothing wrong with it. But obviously, yeah, I mean, when I was a little girl and I was dreaming of being an actor, I kind of maybe dreamed my characters would have names instead of just being described as the position they fill in the advert, prospective homeowner 1, and so on. So here we are, the usual setup. I'll auto the focus, and this back light on. Ooh. Front light on. Turn off the noisy neon lighting. And zoom right in. Just a little bit of the edge there. Diciamo è molliccio dentro. Proviamo a mangiarlo comunque. It's bread. Okay, so it's time to record, and this keyboard allows you to put a USB stick here and then press audio record and then just record straight into the USB stick, which is very, very handy. And that's audio record rather than media record. They do have media record as well, so don't get confused, unless that's what you want, unless you do want to record MIDI. But audio record, it actually records the sound of the piano. I think I'll try and record it. No, I know. I will try and record it from the outside as well with my mic. But I think the sound of the the clanking of the keys may be quite loud. So I'll see which one I want to do. But this one will be a cleaner sound. And I think actually what I could do, well, let me look at you. What I could do is I could record just the clanking of the keys with like my headphones in, with no piano sound. I look disheveled. I feel fine. And I think I will try and record it once, just a clean sound with a USB stick. Once the whole sound with a microphone on the outside, and once just the sound of the clanking keys, and I'll play it with my headphones in. So I've just got back from Sarah Barron's Anything for You at the Soho Theatre. It was a 1-hour stand-up show. Just up front, I booked it not really knowing what to expect. I just get the email from Soho Theatre and I booked it, and it wasn't really my cup of tea, and that's not really a criticism of the show itself. It was just not my sense of humour. And actually, that was the first thing I wrote down in my notes, because as someone who is interested in performance and writing and stand-up comedy in particular, I felt like there were still notes and things that I could learn from the show, even though it wasn't necessarily my personal sense of humor. And plenty of people were having a very, very good time and laughing really loudly and having fun. So this is not a criticism of the show whatsoever. It's just like a personal tasting. So the first lesson was, you won't be everyone's cup of tea, and that's absolutely fine. I think quite a lot of the comedy came from negativity, and this is not Sarah Barron. This is just like how jokes often are, right? Like a lot of jokes are based on complaints or criticism or annoyances or things that anger you or things that get on your nerves, or etc., etc. This is just like a standard way of writing jokes, and a standard way of being relatable and making observational comedy that people can relate to, etc., etc. So this is not about her jokes specifically, but just about comedy in general. And this is something that I had been thinking about, looking back at some stand-up jokes that I have made in the past, that they do tend to be quite negative. And so I was thinking, is it just not funny to not be negative? And I don't mean be a Pollyanna, but I just mean, do jokes have to be about complaints? Because I feel like the world is already hard enough. And so I feel like ideally I would like my jokes to be less negative. But can you make jokes that are less negative? I'm not really sure. And personally, I just enjoyed the jokes that I enjoyed the most from tonight were ones that were kind of funny. Not even wordplay, but I love funny words. Like she used the word brassica, like the vegetable. I just think that's very funny. Vegetables of the brassica family. I think that's that just sounds really funny. And the slightly more absurd one, she made a joke about looking forward to being a ghost. I thought that was funny. So those are just like interesting things to think about as I work on my own stand-up stuff. Okay, so I have about 1 hour to go to my final sign language assessment, and if I sound a bit, I had a nap. I had a nap, so my cognitive abilities would be very sharp, or because I felt sleepy, I don't know. Anyway, so that's why I sound like this. And so what I'm going to do is just sign and practice and watch some people sign, because the final assessment is a conversation. There's only so much you can practice. It's not like a presentation that you can pre-prepare in any way. Anyway, you get given the topic only 20 minutes before, so there's only so much you can prepare. But also, it's a conversation, so it kind of just depends what the other person says as well. But yeah, I'm just going to basically warm up and sign for an hour leading up to it, so that when I get into the assessment, I'm not worrying too much about switching over from spoken English to sign, and I'm already warm. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I just finished the assessment. I literally just took my cardigan off because I got so warm during the assessment because I was so nervous. I don't know why. I practice, and I love sign language, and I don't think I really have that. I don't think I need to be worried this much, but literally like my face is sweaty. Luckily, we have a lovely group for our level 2, and the majority of them wants to do level 3, so hopefully we'll stick together and do level 3 together. And we're going to start a group over the summer it's not summer now, it's March, isn't it? But like, until the end of the summer holidays, we're going to start a group so we can keep on practicing together. So that's very exciting. When we first moved into our house and we had the garden for the first time, we kind of had the idea that we wanted it to look a bit like meadowy and so on. And one of the things was either daisies, so because like chamomile flowers are quite similar. And in the reviews for the seeds for the chamomile flowers, there was someone saying they look pretty, but they have this stench of chamomile. And I'm like, you planted chamomile and you complain that it smells of chamomile. I'm like, well, of course it does. It's chamomile. Okay, so this is my attempt at having a little bit of a nod at Victorian hairstyles. So, oh wow, my hair's looking really pretty just by itself. Should I do it like that? Just go like that? I was going to make I was going to do a bit of that. Could still do that, but then leave some of that down. Oh, I hadn't considered that. I hadn't considered that when I undid my bun, my hair could look so nice. Fringe is not necessarily anachronistic. A short fringe is not necessarily anachronistic, but since my fringe decided to dry a bit funny, I might as well. Basically, I twist it. Don't know what I'm telling you, like, I don't know what I'm doing, so anyway, I'm twisting it and pinning it. That's it. That's it. Just try to cross two hairpins like that, so they hopefully don't fall out. Listen, this is not very Victorian. When I take this down, I'm gonna be so confused. Gonna be happens everywhere. Okay. This feels quite solid. There's a bit of swooping still. I'm fully tied to my head. Okay, you'll see the back, I don't. It's probably it has loads of, I can feel lots of bits sticking out, but I feel like you can't see them from the front, so hopefully that's fine. You're helpful. You're helpful psychologically. Physically, you're kind of in the way, but psychologically, you make me happy. Okay. It's fun. It's quite enjoyable to do, to be honest. I'm not really sure what I'm achieving, but it's quite enjoyable to do. Okay, so this is making like a chord, I would say. This is making a fun chord. Micha, what are you doing? Can you see her? Micha, you don't usually go on the desk. Stand one up. Okay. Maybe. This book is very old. Please be careful. This book is incredibly old. What you up to? You never go on the desk. You're just gonna sit there. Or you're just gonna have a cat then, I guess. Okay. Well, as long as you don't. Okay, as long as you don't ruin the book. All right. It's almost 3 a.m. and I've barely made any progress on my Victorian crochet project. I thought I'd be done. I thought I'd finish it today. I mean, I started in the evening, but no, that's not good. No, that's even worse. I started in the evening and I thought I would have finished by later in the evening.